Hi, my name is Robin, and in this section, we're going to talk a little bit about therapy. To begin this section, we thought it would be interesting to introduce you to Kelsey. Kelsey and her wife Megan have had a long journey with psychotherapy, and they have a couple of key points that they'd like to point out to future clinicians.
So, one thing that clinical psychologists could keep in mind when working with queer or same sex couples is finding the tension between recognizing that their experience is likely different from that of hetero couples while also not othering them. An example of this would be if you are engaging with clients or patients and they are wanting to talk about sex or their sex life or something, not making a distinction between sex or gay sex or queer sex, because what it does is it tells the queer couple that their sex is different. It is not the norm. It is not potentially as valuable or meaningful, and it very clearly makes the queer couple feel like they are that much more different than a hetero couple. And also, a big element of that is particularly if you're in a same sex female couple or present as two women in a partnership, it can definitely devalue your it can feel like a devaluement to your sex, because it definitely falls outside of the confines of what traditional sex is in a patriarchal society, including penetration, male partner. So just keeping it as simple as referring to it as sex, because even as society we often are kind of discussing how we define sex, or participate in sexual activity. So if your understanding of what sex is as limited as penetrative sex between a man and a woman, then you don't really have a lot of space for queer couples as they work through their sexuality or explore their sex lives or want to talk about it. Another point that is really important when working with queer couples is understanding trauma as well. That fits in definitely with the othering element spoken about in the first part. Or a high percentage of queer individuals are coming in with trauma, be it from familial rejection, social rejection, friends, and an element again of that is this othering thing, feeling on the outsides, not feeling connected. So any sort of engaging with queer couples that makes them feel as though they are different, not necessarily in a positive way, but that they are different or on the outside of something, again, really can contribute to really hammering in trauma that they may already have.
Thank you, Kelsey, for sharing your experience with us. I think it was a good reminder for us all to remember that these are not just topics, but there's individuals behind them, and that our words are affecting. There's a lot of nuance to be thought of, and that therapy is so individualistic. To look at a ton of case studies and their fine, minute details that are involved, um, that would be pretty hard to do in 30 minutes. So I would like to discuss a couple of studies that have been done with successful group therapies, therapies involving specific problems, more looking at large groups than individuals.
Created using Powtoon.